absolutely insane. For those of you who don't know, this week, the guys that helped make Wrestle Talk what it is today passed away. Rick was an amazing guy, and we do have a little thing that we want to play, but I want to bring in the man in this, the Renee,
Unmuted.
Gentleman that knew Rick more than, and at the one and only just in time. Come on, guys.
Hey, Joe. How you been? How you doing, man? I'm here.
Been a roller coaster of a week. But hey, are you good?
I am, Joey, and Justin. I'm here. I've got some thoughts that I want to share. Obviously, we're still struggling to kind of wrap our minds around this situation. So we'll talk for just a few. But I think Justin had a great idea. Joe communicated to me, and I absolutely loved it. We're actually going to do a full show dedicated to Rick, so that you guys can kind of understand what Joe means when he says Rick got us to where we are today. But, geez Louise. But what I can tell you guys, as far as today goes, is we're going to play just a quick tribute. We're going to hit the 10-bell salute. We ask everybody to remove their caps for that. We'll come back just briefly, share some thoughts, and then we'll go ahead and move on. But we promise Justin will be there alongside us when we decide to schedule that Rick Rose Memorial show. And you guys will have an opportunity to get to know him about as good as you can without actually having met him in person. So, Joey, Justin, I think this is the appropriate time to ask everybody to remove their caps, to play the 10-bell salute, and then the short audio collage that we put together in memory of Richard Rose. All right, into Timmy, if you could do us a favor and cue up those audio clips that we uploaded. We want to go ahead and let everybody take a listen. You can go ahead and hit that when you're ready, Timmy.
I'm pumped that we're on Blog Talk Radio. It's an awesome platform and everything. A 5-minute promo. Joe doing what he does best, just running his mouth. You guys go back through that and tell me how many times he cussed. It felt like every other word was F this, F that, MF, 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 yes I left, blah, 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 wham. I left, wham. Be prepared for a war, MF this, MF that, F this, F that. I left. Yeah, so what? Traitor. Trisha, that's what. Rick. uncontrolled. Rick Rose. You know, a lot of stuff has been going on in this group. You guys missed Metro Pro. Missed a lot of stuff. The reveal of the Kings of the Road. The little battle between Insane Royalty and half of Extreme Authority. And also missed this. What do you think about tying with Justin? Justin Time is the champion. You're going to sue my show?
I'm not suing your show because I'm also getting sued by another company. Because they also are personal advocates. Anyway.
You bullied me, though, Joe. You bullied me. You bullied me into taking that bet because you knew you'd win. That's why you brought it up.
I did not do anything of the sort. You did not have to take those bets. And so, you know, but like I said, congratulations.
When have I ever made a bet to you and said, if you lose the things, you're going to have to do something embarrassing? You did it to me.
That's true. Oh, Miss Rose. You know, a funny story about Rick, and he never forgot this story. It happened years ago, and he still remembered it. It was the first time that we went to Kobe Pro All or Nothing, and we're sitting there at cabin, and I'm upstairs, he's downstairs, and he says, Joe, can you take a look at my mower? I turned and looked, and there was Rick mooning me. I would never forget it to this day. Every single time he would see me, he would bring that up. He didn't care if it was in a group of people that have never heard of me, never knew me. He would bring that up. He'd say, I showed Joe my mole. Justin knows all about that story. Do you not?
Yeah, that was, we went all or nothing that weekend, that's for sure. I mean, there's so many memories that we have and so many stupid things he did that just made you laugh every single time. And, I mean, like I said to you, Joe, in a private comment, out of everything that happened, or every post I've seen this weekend, I believe Mama Time's post was the one that got to me the most with, you know, he is the only man I have ever met who has had the cojones to stand up and sing a song to my wife in a bar. And mind you, he's surrounded by, huge guys, big guys, you know, and he's just singing away. And I don't even remember the song right at this moment. But
well, Justin, I want to say this, man. I know, you know, I know that this has been particularly difficult for you and for Joe, and Joe and I were talking in private as well, and you know, I had to remind Joe, like, bro, I know you had a close relationship with Rick, and he went up there a few times, but I used to see Rick a couple of times a week when he was active in the fantasy group. So for a little while there, we had a really close relationship. And you're absolutely right, bro. Rick was the kind of guy who would do anything. He would humiliate himself for a laugh. And because we do, have the regularly scheduled show, I'm going to share one story, and then we're going to bring on a few callers and then try to do our best to get back to the show. Because, again, we are going to do a full 1 hour special, the Rick Rose Memorial. And we absolutely are going to want you to be there for the whole thing, Justin. But here's my story. So I remember we were at Metro Pro Wrestling. You guys heard it referenced in that audio drop that you put together, Joey. Great job on that. We were sitting there, and, you know, most indie companies occasionally will bring in some well-known superstars. Well, this show was the Ricky Morton show. No, the one in the freezer, please. Thank you. It was the Ricky Morton show. And Ricky Morton showed up. You know, he was the match right before the main event. and this might have been when Tommy Dreamer faced Mark Sterling in the main event, for those of you who are keeping score. But anyway, so Ricky Morton was doing his thing, and his thing has been working for a long time, ladies and gentlemen. There's a reason this man's a Hall of Famer. But he was doing the whole rock and roll, and everybody in the crowd was in on it, right? Because who better than the Rock and Roll Express to get behind an independent show, Justin? Well, not Rick Rose. Rick Rose was sitting directly behind me. We were in the front row. He was sitting directly behind me. And he goes, "You're old, fat, and slow." This is what Rick yells at the legendary Ricky Morton. And everybody in our area looks at Rick, and then Ricky Morton basically stops right in the middle of his chant, looks over at Rick, and goes, "There's an asshole like you in every effing crowd." And all of us are like, bro, he got so much heat, and he turned red or whatever. But in typical Rick fashion, he just shrugged it off and took another sip of beer, bro. It was legendary. He didn't skip a beat. And for a guy that's been doing it as long as Ricky Morton has, he got Ricky Morton off his game, and I thought that was incredible. So there's one of my Rick Rose stories, and like I said, we're gonna do a whole show dedicated to Rick. But Justin, man, I can't thank you enough, bro, for you were on the show before I was. You welcomed me in with open arms. Obviously, the show has changed quite a bit since then, but many would argue for the better. That said, it doesn't mean that we don't cherish the past and all the people who helped get us to where we are today. So I personally want to thank you, and I want to say, bro, you will forever, in my mind, be a member of the Wrestle Talk family, just like our beloved friend, Rick Rose.
And I appreciate that. You know, I love you guys. I've kind of stepped away from wrestling, and for the better. I'm old. My body can't take it anymore. You know, this weekend has awoken something in me. Seeing some of the posts, I cannot wait for the 1 hour tribute. You know, I'm going to be there with bells on. I am going to hit the Covey Nation, and I'm going to get a couple special guest people to call in that I know you guys are definitely going to want to hear from. And we're going to get that party, because I'm going to say it, it's going to be a party for Rick. We ain't going to mourn him. We're going to party like he'd want to, because like I told Joe, if he was standing in front of us and saw how we were acting, he would do what, Joe? What would he call us?
Well, let's if we knew that we were crying over him, he would call us pussy, and then he would tell us to get the tail part out of our head.
Oh, yeah. Dude, that
like I said,
so
guys,
true.
Tonight, do what you guys do best. Talk wrestling, have fun. And then when you guys are ready, you know where I'm at, you know how to get a hold of me, and I will be right there. And like I said, I'm going to get a couple special guests to call in that night as well. So you guys rock tonight and kill it.
That was absolutely awesome. Thank you, Justin.
You got it, bro.
Absolutely amazing. All right. So we're going to get this show started. Let's go ahead and do what we always do. We cannot forget to do the call break. So, Renee, let's do what you always do, and let's do this. Let's get this show started like we would want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. But before we do that, let me just say very quickly, thank you to everybody who's tuning in. Thank you to everybody who is listening to us share memories of Rick Rose, who was one of the original hosts, along with my partner in crime, Nightmare Jones, of the Wrestle Talk podcast. I'm proud to have taken over for Rick and helped the show grow, because I know that this was originally something that was very, very important to him. He actually ended up getting signed, just so you guys know of like why he wasn't here. We'll get more into that when we do the special. But he got signed by a TV network to do paranormal stuff, right? Like ghost hunting and all that jazz. So obviously that was going to pay. This doesn't very well. The choice is obvious, and he offered me the opportunity along with Joe to kind of take over the show, and I think the rest is history. So if you guys have any appreciation for Wrestle Talk, Rick, myself, or Joe, please hit that share and like button. It really means a lot to us. We love seeing the thumbs up and the hearts come across the screen. We'd like to hit 30 likes tonight if we can. That's all up to you guys. More than anything else, we're grateful for you guys being here. And once we get into high spots, you can dial that number, 657-383-1521. And also, huge thanks to Rathbun Engraving. Huge thanks to I-70 Sports Media. Jeremy Karp will be joining us here in a couple of minutes to talk a little wrestling and a little football due to the big franchise deal that Patrick Mahomes just got. And why is we doing that? Because he's one of our wonderful sponsors, and we want you guys to get to know him a little bit better. We also got Chris Rodell in the queue. He's going to join us, share some words about Rick Rose. And then here in about 15 minutes, we're bringing on our first featured guest, Joseline Navarro, who is part Jamaican, part Dominican. So it's going to be fantastic. We're going to be talking all about Black Wrestles Matter, and we have a great announcement that's going to be coming to you guys as well. Last but not least, Conspiracy Farm and Talking Dynasty Podcast. We love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting us. And, of course, Royal Mills Transportation. With all that said, my friends, let's go ahead and do what we always do about this time, and once again ask everybody to respectfully remove their caps as we pay homage to the greatest country on God's green earth. That's America, damn it.
Oh, say, can you see? And the rocket, red flag. Uh-oh. I'll make up for it now. Oh, the land of the free.
It's a tear in my eyes every single time, ladies and gentlemen. Every single time. And so, Jimmy, hit that high spot. I love that high spot song. Such an awesome song. Well, we got so much that we wanted to talk about high spot, and I think that's one thing I wanted to.
Whoa, Jonesy. Jonesy. I
What?
know it's been a hard 24 hours for you, bro, but I told you.
Yeah.
We got a very special guest that's going to be joining us for High Spots, brother. So before you get into it, this man is versed not only in all professional sports, particularly in the beautiful state of Missouri, he's also a huge professional wrestling fan and just happens to be the owner of one of our sponsors, I-70 Sports Media. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show for the High Spots segment, the one and only. You got any music for Jeremy Karp, Jonesy? You got anything you can play for him? Because I think he deserves some intro music. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, the one and only, nothing but illustrious guest, the one and only, I think I already said that, my bad, Jeremy Karp.
Oh, Jonesy, just like you always say, that national anthem brings a tear to your eye every time. I just love it more and more every time I'm on the show and every time I listen to the show. So I'm right there with you.
Gang, gang. Let's go.
Well, that's awesome. So now for Patrick Mahomes and the whole thing with all that money that, they kind of just brought to him in wheelbarrows. I must say, this is something you're never going to find in the professional wrestling world because, he has a 10-year extension for $503 million. And most of that money is incentives. So that's if you do a certain thing or if you achieve a certain feat, then you get this amount of money. So if he wins the MVP, he gets about $1.25 million added onto his, the money that he's going to get. And obviously for arguably the best quarterback in the league right now, fair enough. But see, in the pro wrestling world, it's a different story. I mean, that's like saying every time MVP wins the United States title, he's going to get a $2 million bonus. That's something you can't really do in the professional wrestling world.
Hey, Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy, we got a bunch of Raiders fans watching, and Joe happens to be one of them. I'm getting a lot of angry faces right now. I'm getting a lot of angry faces on the live feed. I'm just letting you know right now.
I welcome every single one of them because we're in the Midwest, baby.
Let's go.
You can't make a bunch of friends without making a few enemies.
Yeah.
But Jonesy, I got so much love for you. You're the exception. Nothing but love for you, buddy.
So basically, what you're saying, Jeremy, is that Patrick Mahomes is getting paid almost as much as we pay Intune Timmy.
Joe, wait.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's hard to find people and teams and stuff that Patrick Mahomes is not getting paid more than. I mean, we're talking $500 million here, guys. I mean, he's getting paid more per minute than I'll probably make in a day.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. I do want to transition this in and tie it back to professional wrestling. And I was thinking, because I know we talked before the show, Jeremy, and I was like, we got to figure out a way to tie this football thing, Interstate 70, sports media. And here's how I want to tie it in. I know you have your own way of doing it, but here's my way. So you're talking about the richest contract in sports history. Here's my question to you. If you look back in the annals of professional wrestling from the beginning of the sport until today, who, if you could choose one person that you would give that kind of a deal to in professional wrestling that you think will provide you that sort of value, what one superstar, and of course we're speaking relatively here, right? We're talking about the biggest deal in that sport's history. So if you go back in time, who of everyone that's ever wrestled that you know of would you be willing to give that kind of a deal to?
If there's two people, I know you said one,
no.
So I'm just going to have to pick the one, and I'll tell you why.
All right.
We're going to Hulk Hogan, and I'll tell you why. My other choice was going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin, but I'll tell you why I'm going to stick with Hulk Hogan as the top one. Because when Hulk Hogan was becoming popular, it wasn't just Hulk Hogan becoming popular. It was what Vince McMahon was doing for the wrestling industry. He was taking it worldwide, not just nationwide. He was taking it worldwide. It was the 80s professional wrestling boom. WrestleMania was just born. The Royal Rumble, the big 4 pay-per-views were starting to come alive. Hulk Hogan was the figurehead for so many years as the wrestling and sports entertainment combined and rose to the top. And Hulk Hogan was that rallying face, kind of like how Patrick Mahomes is essentially the face of the NFL, or the future face, unless you're a Raiders fan, in which case, you got Derek Carr. But,
that sounded like a punchline. I know it wasn't a punchline, but that sounded like a punchline to me.
Just a little slide right there. Just a little turn right there. Just a little slide.
You know what? At least he didn't mention the name Jamarcus Russell. Let's not even.
I would never. Oh, I would never go that low. I could not do that.
Wait. I think we have
too much to go there.
I think we have an appropriate drop for Jamarcus Russell. Let me see if we can find that real quick.
Never drew a dime. Not a dime. Not a dime.
Never drew a dime.
So we do have quite a bit of wrestling topics as debate for our first guest we call in, and something that I saw today that kind of intrigued me AEW is actually after I believe Fighter Fest. They're actually doing this like special called the Puppy Battle Royal, where they're gonna have all these puppies in the AEW like small ring, and I'm like, I don't know why they're doing this. They're like trying to dab at the WWE all of the times that the WWE would have the shows cut short or go a little bit longer because they would have like the dog show on the USA Network. I just thought that was kind of funny. A puppy bowl.
Oh man.
Well, let me jump in and say this. Let me jump in and say this. I think that some of the stuff that's going on back and forth between the companies is like damn right embarrassing. I mean, is that really necessary? And
right?
What I've also learned is that there's a lot of pettiness in professional wrestling, unfortunately. Okay, I'm looking at this story just now. About this issue between Billy Gunn and Tony Gunn. Have you guys heard this one?
Yeah. Yeah, I have.
Yeah, it just came out. Yeah, I was checking in on that.
Yep.
Poor Tommy Gunn. Like, man. Like Tommy, he had posted that, that he basically, he has to change his entire career. He can't sell his shirts anymore. He can't yell his catchphrases anymore. All because Billy Gunn doesn't want him using the word gun show.
Like
I even heard he doesn't use the word gun show.
Well, he hasn't used it on AEW since he arrived there. And listen, Billy Gunn has secured his bag, as they say where I come from. The man has done well in the professional wrestling world. I mean, I've seen him in New Japan. I've seen him obviously in WWF. I've seen him in WWE. Now he's in AEW. I mean, I get it. You want to capitalize on things, okay? That you think belong to you. But when there's a guy like Tony Gunn that needs the gimmick that he's been building for so long, why be so petty? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me, Joe. Right. And it's almost sad, to be honest. It's almost a little sad. And I don't want to, obviously, Billy Gunn has his rights. But, when you see a guy that's an up-and-comer, man, he's really working his ass off. He talked about merch. He talked about all these things, this gear that he's had to pay for, and then for it to all be taken away, man, it just feels really, really, really unfair to me. But I will say this. Not everyone is like that. And there's a lot of good vibes going on, too. Like within the professional wrestling world, including this amazing event that's going down in August called Black Wrestlers Matter. We're going to hit you guys with the details on Black Wrestlers Matter here in the second hour. But before we move on, I think it's time to bring on Chris Rodell, who's been waiting very, very patiently here for a little bit over 25 minutes. And then just after we finish up with Chris Rodell, we'll say bye to Jeremy, and then we'll bring on our first featured guest of the evening. The talented, the lovely Joseline Navarro is going to be joining us. I can't wait to talk to her. But Chris Rodell, I know you're there.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Chris Rodell, I know you're there, and I know you have some thoughts you want to share, man. So the floor is yours. What is on your mind, my friend?
Hey, what's up, guys? I hope everyone is doing pretty well. I mean, it's a tough time in this country and the world, and I just wanted to extend the Dynamo Pro family condolences to the Wrestle Talk family on the loss of Rick. We first came on. You guys gave us our first real chance on national podcast with you and Joe and Rick for our share show back in 2015, and I friended Rick on Facebook, and dude was hilarious, but not crossing the line. Just, he was just a good guy. So, I mean, I just wanted to extend the Dynamo Pro families on behalf of the management and staff with me, Luke, Drake, Jim, Crystal, and all the wrestlers to the Wrestle Talk family that we are sorry for your loss, and Rick was one of a kind.
Yes, I wholly Absolutely. He definitely was.
Absolutely.
And getting on to other things, Patrick Mahomes is worth every cent that the Chiefs paid for him.
Well, Rodell.
The Raiders drafted Jamarcus Winston, if I remember right.
No, wait, Rodell.
Or Jamarcus Russell.
Rodell. I can't let you pile on Jonesy because it's too easy, but I am going to have you answer the question because we got about 2 minutes before we got to bring on Miss Navarro here. If you could give the once-in-a-lifetime deal that Patrick Mahomes got to one wrestler in history, who would you give that deal to? Who do you think is worth that kind of...
Oh, I heard that question. I heard that question. I was thinking about it. I was actually thinking about it the entire time. I'm like, the easy answer is Hogan or Flair, but honestly, I'm going to give it to John Cena.
Wow.
That's a good one. I'll give it to Cena, man.
I mean, you look at one. You look at all of his charity work. Two, he was the face of the WWE. I know people hated it, but I mean,
he was the bridge.
I really think I would have given it to John Cena.
Yep, he was absolutely the bridge, and I don't think you're wrong for making that selection. Well, Rodell, thank you so much, brother. We are going to do a Rick Rose Memorial here in a couple of weeks. We want you to be there because we know you've had some experiences more than what you were able to share today. So thank you so much, man, for representing Dynamo Pro Wrestling and showing love.
Like I said, I just wanted to drive by with the thoughts of the Dynamo Pro family. You guys have always been awesome to us, and Rick was a good guy. He stumped for veteran suicide prevention, so he was just a darn good guy. So I was completely shocked when I saw that he passed away on the 4th of July. Isn't it weird that a great veteran on the 4th of July passed away? So.
Well, we let you go, Chris. How come you never asked me? I would put that one too.
Well, Joe, see the way I grew. I grew up in a Latino household. In a Latino household, you got to let the guests go first. If you don't let the guests go first, then your mom grabs la chancla. I know you don't know what la chancla is, but that's a flip-flop. And she throws it across the room like a goddamn ninja star, and she never misses. So I had to let our guests go first. But I do want to ask you that very same question, then we'll get closing thoughts from Jeremy Karp, and then we will bring on our lovely and talented first featured guest of the evening, Joseline Navarro. So, Jonesy, who would you be willing to give that kind of deal to in wrestling terms, like the one that Patrick Mahomes got?
It's really tough, because it's between the Volatile Curtis Wild, it's between Ozzy Gallagher, Rick Maverick, and the Snitch. And I would have to say...
No! God! No! God! Please, no! No! No!
You are hilarious. Seriously, Joe, we're burning daylight here, man. Give me a real answer.
Shawn Michaels. I've always liked Shawn Michaels. That's who I would. But that's just...
Shawn Michaels. Well, we'll let Jeremy give us his closing thoughts, and then I'll tell you what the right answer is, ladies and gentlemen. And I dare you to come on later and challenge me, because I'm going to tell you exactly who deserves that deal, but not until we get final thoughts from our absolutely wonderful, very supportive, and wonderful Jeremy Karp of I-70 Sports Media. Jeremy Karp, final thoughts before we let you go, bro?
Well, I'll tell you this much. I came on to this show first time was 3 years ago. Luke from Dynamo Pro introduced me to you guys, and I've had so many appearances on this show. We've talked about so many amazing topics, and you guys have meant so much to me. Rodell and Luke at Dynamo Pro, they've all meant so much to me. So on behalf of myself, Zach, and Jeremy at Interstate 70 Sports Media, we extend our heartfelt condolences as well to the Wrestle Talk podcast family. We can send nothing but peace and love throughout everything going on in the world and through you guys going through it this tough time. So,
thank you, Jeremy. We really, really appreciate that, man. Thanks for making the time to join us for the High Spot segment tonight, man. Again, guys, that's Interstate 70 Sports Media. Make sure you let them know that the Wrestle Talk podcast sent you, man. Thank you so much, bro. We'll catch you down the road, Jeremy.
Always. Peace and love, guys. You guys take care. Be strong.
Adios. And hang on the line there for a second so I can give you the right answer. Here's the right answer. If you're going to give that kind of a deal to anybody in professional wrestling history, it has to be more than just somebody who was successful in professional wrestling. Okay? Hulk Hogan was great. Hasn't done much outside of professional wrestling. Okay? Stone Cold was great. Hasn't done much outside of professional wrestling. Same for Shawn Michaels. I like all these answers, but there's only one right answer. And the right answer is none other than a man that's not even known by his wrestling name anymore. He's one of the few to be able to do that. John Cena was pretty close, but guys, the answer is obvious. The number one actor in Hollywood, the one-time best professional wrestler in the world, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. How did nobody bring up Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? This man was box office in WrestleManias. This man was box office in the box office. Bro, if you're going to give that kind of deal to anybody, it has to be Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. If you smell it, okay, never mind. We got time for that. All right, guys, here we go. We're going to go ahead and transition in to our first featured guest of the evening. That's right. We got a little bit of Jamaican flavor. We got a little bit of Dominican flavor that's going to get sprinkled on tonight's show. That's right, because we are in full support of Black Wrestlers Matter, and this lovely lady is going to play a part in that wonderful event happening in August. And we got some big news about the Wrestle Talk podcast and that event coming up in the second hour, but we'll get to that when we get to that. So without further ado, amigos, make some noise for the lovely, the talented Joseline Navarro. Hit the music, Timmy. Hey. Oh, Timmy, you better let that beat drop, Timmy. I'm not playing. Timmy didn't even let the beat drop, man. Joseline. What's up, sis? Welcome to the show. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Excited to have you. Thank you so much for making time.
Okay. Absolutely, no problem.
Well, I really appreciate it. Well, first and foremost, this is our first opportunity to speak with each other. Very, very excited. I know you've got some things you want to
share. Lacrosse, and then, I went to university for track and field, and then I was like, fuck it, let me try wrestling.
Yeah.
So then, I moved back to Cleveland, and I found a wrestling school, and, it took off from there.
Wow. Well, talk to us a little bit about that. You talk about being a three-sport athlete. Coming from DR and having that Jamaican ancestry as well, was like your family inclined to sports? Did they love soccer or football like the way my family did? Or were you like first generation actually getting into sports? Did you have somebody in your family that helped push you to be in sports?
Oh, my whole family is full of athletes. Everybody play, basketball, football, soccer, ran track, played baseball. Like, everybody did something. So I feel like I was just falling into place of being an athlete.
No doubt. And I do want to say, I know you were listening to the show before, and we were talking a little football and Patrick Mahomes or whatever, and I'm curious to know, like, the Dominican Republic, especially within the last 20 years, has had a great representation in sports, specifically baseball. So I'm curious, did like guys like Big Papi and Manny and any of those guys influence you to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, maybe I'm a little bit different from other people, but hey, if those guys can be pro athletes, I can be a pro athlete, because I know how revered somebody like David Ortiz, formerly of the Boston Red Sox, is to the Dominican people.
You know what? Yeah, growing up, like you said, like baseball, especially huge on the island and whatnot. But definitely, yeah, them, and also, like I'm also like really in touch with my Jamaican side. So, you know, the popular Jamaican track and field athletes. So I did look at both sides and was like, damn, you know, if they can do it coming from a small island, then, you know, we all can too. So, yeah, it was definitely, like, inspiring watching them come from, you know, a third world country and then coming to America and just blowing it out, you know. Even though I personally, I hate the Red Sox, but, yeah.
No doubt. And I see your like low key floss. You're like, oh yeah, Jamaican track and field. Low key, like we got the fastest man in the whole world. Don't forget that. I see your low key floss. I didn't miss it. I caught it. Low key floss. Well, listen, let me jump into something else because I know Black Wrestlers Matter is what's in the future, and we're all very, very excited about it. Yours truly, if I can get the wife to sign a permission slip, I'm going to try to be in Des Moines, Iowa at the end of August as well. But you have had the opportunity to wrestle for the last 4 years. You mentioned making that decision to go into a training facility and start on your path. Where and when did you go from being a fan like the rest of us to actually making the decision that you wanted to pursue that dream? Because there's a lot of fans that never go to wrestling school, right? Something had to trigger you. What triggered you to go there, and what was the experience of being a trainee?
Okay, so I was in my freshman year of college at the University of Mississippi, and I had a really bad injury to the point where, you know, I was like, you know, after my freshman year, I'm going to just go ahead and go back to Ohio and recalibrate, rethink what I'm going to do. And while I was up there, me and my brother had went to Fast Lane in 2016. He had got us like front row tickets. I was like, you know, this is like, I've always wanted to do this since I was a little kid. So after the show, we went back to our parents' house, and I was just online looking up schools, like what's the closest school around me. And the first school that showed up was Mega Championship Wrestling in Elyria, Ohio. So I was like, okay, cool. So I reached out to them and said, you know, I have an athletic background. I would like to try out, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, they invited me to the next tryout. And then at the tryout, the trainer was just like, you know, you blowing everybody out of the water. I definitely want to train you, you know. So that's how I got started there. And then now I train at Absolute Intense Wrestling, AIW. I'm actually at training right now. They let me come out to do the podcast.
Yeah, let them know. Hey, let them know you're promoting for them. You just say, hey, and those guys know us too. They've been on the show before. I believe the promoter has been on the show previously. You just let them know, Night Owl, Nightmare Jones, we're going to take good care of you. I promise.
I'll let them know.
Yeah, no doubt. No, well, here's my last question before I throw it over to Joe. So, obviously, you know, we're talking about, you know, your journey through professional wrestling. And, you know, you said you went to college, you had the injury, then you tried pro wrestling. Did you run into any adversity during training? Were there any moments where you thought about, like, hey, you know what, maybe this isn't for me? Or were you a total natural? Because that's what it sounds like to me.
I had one moment where it was like, I don't know if this is for me, but I was very natural at all the movements and whatnot. But I had two trainers when I first started, and we were like going over forearms. And the one trainer, he forearmed me so hard that I seen the white light, and I was like, I don't know if I really want to do this or not. But
hey, did your Dominican side come out? Like, did you all of a sudden, like, you were talking English, and then you got hit, and you're like, coño, ¿qué te pasa? Estás loco, estás con una trabilla, te meto por el pescuezo. Like, did your Dominican side come out right there? Because I'm worried.
Yes. 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 I was like, what the fuck? Like, wait a minute. And then also, I was the only girl. Most of my training, I've always been the only girl in the class. So I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm tougher than all of them. So I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna finish training. So that was like the one instance where I was like, you know, I don't know about this, but I got through that.
Yeah, well, we're grateful that you did, because obviously you're still kicking ass in the sport. My partner, Nightmare, I actually happen to be in Kansas City. My partner is actually all the way out in West Virginia. I know he's been doing his research and watching some videos, so he's got some questions as well. Jonesy, why don't you jump in here with our first featured guest of the evening, Joseline Navarro.
Absolutely. So, once again, thank you for taking time out of your show. Now, as I was going through some of your matches, I noticed something with last time in pro wrestling. You wrestled somebody by the name of Peter Be Beautiful, and you all have been like switching titles like crazy. You know, he defeated you in the three-way match, and then you defeated him in the three-way match. What is this feud with Peter Be Beautiful?
Well, actually, that was at Horror Slam in Michigan. Yeah. But you know, he won a title shot for any title in the company, and Horror Slam is actually a deathmatch company.
Nice.
But so he's a deathmatch wrestler. But he was like, I want to wrestle her. So, and, he came after my title, and I was like, I'm not even a deathmatch wrestler. Like, what are you doing? But he was like, forget that. I want to wrestle you. You're one of the best wrestlers, in the Midwest. I'm like, okay, whatever. That's cool. So, we started shooting back and forth for the title. So I don't know what the future holds for that, but.
Wow. So
I don't know what's going on with that.
So you're not a deathmatch wrestler, but you went ahead and invested in a deathmatch with this guy with like light tubes and thumbtacks and stuff?
We haven't done a deathmatch, but I have one deathmatch in me.
Bro, so I want to be there. I want to see this. Yo! That sounds sick.
I said I want to try every match at least once. I've done a TLC match, done a Fans Bring the Weapons match, So I have one in me for the death match. I got one in me for it.
Wow.
Somebody needs to book that shit.
Awesome. I want to be there for that. And I was going through your title race, and you would be Mega Fighting Spirit Champion for 469 days. Like, how did it feel to be a champion for 469 days? That's like over a year.
Yeah, that was a very long time. That was obviously my longest title reign. It was fun. I got to wrestle all kinds of people. I got to defend it at other promotions and whatnot. It was very fun. But now I'm actually the main champion at Mega now. So,
wow.
That was cool. But like having this title reign now as the Mega champion, I'm the first female to hold the Mega champion. So,
wow.
I think
that is freaking awesome. That is freaking awesome. So I guess that's my last question, and this might be a tough question to ask you, but who gave you the biggest run for your money in your entire wrestling career?
Ooh, that's a good question, Joey.
Ooh. That is a good question. Honestly, I want to say it was this dude that I trained with. I don't know if you guys know him or not, but he go by the Suplex Shogun Jackson Stone. I've wrestled him a few times, and I barely make it out each time. So, I hope he's on the next Black Wrestlers Matter show because he just got signed to Impact. He's rough. So, when I wrestle him, I got to bring literally everything I got.
Wow.
So I think he's giving me the most run for my money by far.
That's dope.
Not saying that anybody else haven't been a tough competitor, because everybody has their things. I've had a lot of amazing tough opponents. The Jackson Stone is the one that's given me the most the run for my money.
Let's make a note of that. See if we can't find that on YouTube somewhere. I want to watch this. Well, Joey.
Renee, I'm sure that you have a couple more issues.
Oh, bro, I do. I absolutely do. And you know what? But before I go on any further, let me just thank everybody who's joined us throughout today's show so far. The first hour has been great. As you guys know, we had to hit the 10-bell salute to start the show because we lost one of the original hosts of the show, Rick Rose. God bless your soul, man. We love you. We miss you. R.I.P. Rick Rose. Thank you, everybody who shared, who's liking this. It sounds like you guys are loving this interview. Make sure you guys look up Joseline Navarro on all social media platforms. Make sure you hit her up and you let her know that Wrestle Talk Podcast sent you. With all that said, I do want to get in to kind of like the hot topic, right? And the hot topic is this amazing event that's going down on August 22nd, 2020, called Black Wrestlers Matter. Before we get on to the event itself, I want to ask you, as a sister, right? As somebody with a little melatonin in their skin, like yours truly, right? I'm from the land of the sun. I'm a Mexican cat. I was born in Mexico, so I feel like there's that connection, right? When you think about like Black Wrestlers Matter, the event, but then you also think about the social cause that's going on in America and really throughout the world right now. Do you have any words of encouragement for people of color that maybe have dealt with racism, oppression, discrimination on any level? You don't have to get into anything personal if you don't want to, but what message would you send out to little girls that see you wrestle and go, oh, wow, she looks just like me. If she can do it, I could do it, just like you did with Usain Bolt and Big Papi.
Just don't let anybody discourage you because of the color of your skin. I oftentimes, as a female wrestler, I run into female wrestling fans that, are my color, and they'll tell me stories of how they were discouraged from doing this and doing that because they were dark skinned and whatnot. And they ask how to have confidence going forward as a dark skinned woman or, person in general, and being out here and trying to do your thing and whatnot. And just my number one thing is never get discouraged, never be scared, always have your voice heard. I'm not afraid to lose anything if it means speaking up for my people. I don't care about losing bookings. I don't care about losing friends. None of that when it comes to speaking up for my people and protecting my people. Because when you've been in situations, in life or death situations, in regards to the police or anything because of your color of your skin, you become fearless. And I've been in some situations, had protecting family members where, even at one point, a police officer put a gun on my brother, absolutely for no reason. And that's my brother, that's my best friend. I stepped in front of the gun. I would rather them take me out instead of my brother. So at this point in my life, as a 23-year-old person, I'm just like, never be afraid of having your voice heard, never be afraid of speaking out. And I think that's the most important thing. And never be afraid to do whatever it is that you want to do. Because whatever you feel like you can do it. So I think that would be my message to anybody out there that's weary about doing whatever because of the color of their skin or whatever it looks like. Don't be afraid of shit. Get out there and do it. Doesn't matter what anybody else has to say.
No doubt. I absolutely love that. And here's my philosophy, because I'm with you. You can't cancel me. I started with nothing. I know what it feels like. You can't take everything away from me and defeat me, because when I got here, I had nothing. So I've been there before. It's not a scary place. It's not a scary place to me. Thank you so much for that heartfelt message, sis. That's beautiful, and that's even better than what I was looking for. So thank you very much. Moving on to the event, though. August 22nd, Franklin Junior High School, 401 Franklin Avenue, Des Moines, Iowa, 7 p.m. Tickets as low as $10. This ain't a cash grab. It absolutely, though, is a fundraising event for causes that support the ideology that you just heard from the intelligent, the lovely, the talented Joseline Navarro. Let's talk about that real quick. How excited are you, A, to be back wrestling again, and number two, or B, I should say, to be a part and get an invite to this kind of event? Because I know a lot of black wrestlers, Latino wrestlers, that wish they'd gotten the invite to this event, but for whatever reason, I know there's only so much room on the card, didn't. You did. How exciting is that?
First of all, I'm very excited.
It's going to be fresh.
To be on the show, it means so much to me. It means like the world to me. When he messaged me asking me if I want to be on the show, I was like, hell yeah. Like,
hell yeah.
Of course. Like, put me on. I was so excited. And then to see the other talent that's going to be on the show, I met a couple of them, but I interact with the majority of them. So to be able to meet a lot of them for the first time in person, and I'm sure it's going to be like, just showing up to the cookout, like, hey, like I've known these people forever. Like, I'm really, really excited for it. And, yeah, I'm just excited.
That's great. Well, speaking of the talent, because I wouldn't put you on the spot and ask you to name the talent. We do that for you. So here's a few of the names. Obviously, Joseline Navarro, Shane Foster, American Fury John West, which shout out to John West. This man, I'm not going to say single-handedly, but he is a force when it comes to this event and the movement. So mega shout out to John West. Queen Bee, Brooke Valentine, which, by the way, Brooke, you're a talented girl, but, I like my custom-fitted caps, and you and that mean chica Marty Bell basically destroyed my ball cap at Journey Pro about a year ago, and I feel like I deserve an apology, okay? So we'll talk about that at the show. Airwolf. Yeah, right. Renee, you ain't getting shit. Anyway, Brooke Valentine, Airwolf, Alpha Omega, shout out to Kenny, shout out to Camaro Jackson. I love both of those guys dearly. Black Sexcellence, Devin Monroe, Isaiah Broner, another shotgun. We talked about another shotgun earlier. Shotgun Chris Logan, former guest of the show. Angel Dorado, shout out to mi gente. Cal Creed, SK Bishop, who I had the pleasure of working with previously here in Kansas City. Stephen Wolf, Adam Kennedy, and one of my favorite wrestlers on the whole planet, St. Louis's very own Mike Outlaw. That is the lineup that you are going to be on the card on. And if you are already excited, I know you're even more excited now, Joseline. I guess I'm going to ask you this question. It's going to be a little unfair. Now that you've heard that, any pressure to perform when you're going to be on a card with that kind of talent? Kind of curious. What do you think?
All right, you left two names off the.
Well, that's all I got right now. Some haven't been revealed yet, so I'm just going with what's officially been revealed. That's all I'm going with. That's why I left a few off for now.
Oh, I'm back. I thought her thing came out already.
Well,
okay.
I'm sure. That's all I was able to get. Maybe I missed a few, but hey, no. If you have them, this is the time. Let's go. I mean, I don't want to leave anybody out though. I didn't want to get ahead of the man. You feel me? I was just like, I'm gonna just the ones I see for sure.
No, you're good.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You're good. But I don't. As far as pressure, I don't feel any pressure to perform. I know that all of these names that you just named are extremely talented.
Oh yeah.
Amazing people. I've seen majority of them wrestle. I know most of them. So I'm just excited to be on this stacked card with them. I'm excited to be able to perform and put on an amazing show because I know from top to bottom that the show is going to be amazing. So I'm just excited to show out with them. I'm excited to debut my new gear with them. And stuff. Like,
Yeah. And you know what? I'm already getting yelled at in the back. So they said, dummy, frontman, Josie, Faye Jackson, JDX, Shazin. You missed all those. Okay, so I love y'all, man. I'm sorry. Don't be mad. Don't be mad at me. Man, these people are ruthless. All right, my bad. Well, listen, the point is, guys, in August, the 22nd, that's going to be a very, very special day for professional wrestling. It's going to be a very special day for professional wrestling in the Midwest, a very special day for the pro wrestling community in the United States, but particularly a special event for all minorities, especially the black community, where this event is a fundraiser. This could easily be a cash grab, folks, and it's not. John West and the gang have decided to give back to the community that they live in. And that's why here on the Wrestle Talk Pods, we're very, very proud to be a part of the event. And I did say in the second hour is going to make a huge announcement. You get to be on the line for this, Jocelyn, so this will kind of make you happy as well. Intern Timmy, can you do me a favor and please hit that breaking news drop? There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The breaking news drop, which means we've got some breaking news, and here it is. The Wrestle Talk podcast has decided to hitch its wagon to Black Wrestles Matter. And not only by inviting their superstars, okay, to come on and talk about the event, not only buying tickets and showing up to the event, no, we feel like you got to put your money where your mouth is. So the Wrestle Talk podcast, as of today, is an official sponsor of Black Wrestlers Matter, ladies and gentlemen. We put our money where our mouth is. This cause is more than worthwhile. So whether you're around the area and you can go to the show, or you can get it on iPay-per-view, we'll have that information on our pages, so make sure you keep an eye out for it. You need to support this event because the Wrestle Talk podcast said so. We're putting our rubber stamp on this thing because we see the people that are involved, we see what the cause is, and it is more than worthwhile. So when I say that we put our money where our mouth is, we absolutely have done that. That was finalized about an hour ago, and we figured what better time to share that with our friends, listeners, and fans than right now during episode 305 of the Wrestle Talk podcast. Joey, it's official. Jocelyn, what do you think about that? Because we're trying to keep it 100 and not just talk a good game, but also, walk the walk as well.
Well, that was great, amazing news. I'm glad that you guys are on board. I get to meet you guys in person, so that's cool. That's amazing. Thanks for supporting the cause. Thanks for, being down with the Black Wrestlers Matter movement. And on behalf of myself and, the rest of us, we appreciate it.
No doubt. No doubt.
We need,
no doubt.
Everybody behind.
It's going to be great. We're excited. Joey, I guess there's only one thing left to do, man.
Yeah.
There's only one thing left to do, man. We have to get into tonight's edition of the Shoot and Shout segment. And Jocelyn, thank you very much. That's something that I feel is incredibly important because, there is a lot of people hurting and struggling right now. And the fact that, we're going to be able to come together as a community and support this cause, I don't think there's any better reason or time to do it, especially as tumultuous as things are in our country right now. So we're excited. We're really excited to get a chance to meet you as well, but things are about to get a little different right now. And you can see we take a lot of sharp turns on this show. And here's the last one. We hope you're ready. Because we have a segment that's called the Shoot and Shout segment. Nightmare Jones is going to break down all the details. All I need you to do is to harness that inner passion, that Latina, Jamaican passion that you have, because this is about to get hot and heated. Jonesy, why don't you go ahead and break down the Shoot and Shout segment so we can close out this amazing interview.
All right, so what's about to happen is I'm going to play a little bit of music, and what the Shoot and Shout segment is this is your opportunity to tell the world what is on your mind. Anything that pisses you off, whether it's wrestling related or the fact that people don't use their turn signals when they're driving, or there's too much air in a bag of potato chips, This is your opportunity. I'm going to play a little bit of music. I'm going to go. Renee's going to go. And then you're going to go, Lance. And are you ready to bring the fire?
Let's go.
The question. Are you ready to bring the fire?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. And then tell me hit that music. Go ahead. Welcome to the Shooting Sound segment. I'm going to go first. The Night Owl's going to go second. And then ending it is going to be our special guest up the first hour. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what is on my mind, what is over my mind is the world today. The world today is just not fair, ladies and gentlemen. You had a man that is younger than I am. He is legit in his 30s, and he passes away from a virus. And, you know, the world is just not fair. So my student shout for today is going to be on the entire world, because it's just not fair. Boom.
Wow. Man, that's a hot and heavy one. But you know what, Joe? I'm going to do my best to try to keep up with you. Here's my shooting shout tonight. Why's there always got to be naysayers? I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan, if it wasn't obvious by our conversation a little bit earlier. There's always got to be something that says something negative. Well, you know, he missed a couple of games already. Well, you know, a 10-year contract has never worked. Hey, you know, now that they signed him, Nightmare Jones, they won't be able to sign any other talent. Why can't y'all just let us be happy for 1 minute? We just want 1 minute. Just a minute, okay? And maybe we're being a little selfish because we've had a minute since we're the champs, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, this young brother just got paid, okay? That's going to help this community. And who knows, maybe we might even get a WWE pay-per-view soon. Maybe we get a Super Bowl soon. It's been too long. Because my girl is from Cleveland, and I know she ain't seen the Super Bowl for a long time. It's hurtful for us, okay? Just let us have our moment and stop hating on us, Nightmare Jones. I'm tired of you, and I'm tired of everybody who likes to hate. That's it, man. I'm done. Jocelyn, please save us.
Okay, well, I'm going to keep the football trend going here. And I'm going to say, why, Browns, please, why did we draft Baker Mayfield in the first place? Like, we could have had anybody else, and we decided on Baker Mayfield. Please, somebody, get out of there. We need somebody that knows what they're doing in this draft and draft the right people, get the right quarterback. Why didn't we get Cam Newton? We could have got Cam Newton. Cam Newton could have led us to the promised land.
Yep.
Damn, we got Myles Garrett back. Come on, we could have got Cam Newton. I'm fed up. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Myles Garrett just needs to stop trying to hit white people with helmets. That's not helping race relations, I'm telling you.
Fucking bullshit!
And where did Iron Sheik come from? Where the hell did he come from? Anyway, well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our first featured interview of the evening. Please help us in thanking the lovely, the talented Joseline Navarro, who will be at Black Wrestlers Matter on August 22nd. Thank you so much. Make some noise, ladies and gentlemen. Make some noise, please. Yeah, you hear him in the back. Yeah, that's right. Jocelyn, before you go, you got to do two things for us. Number one, drop the social. Number two, allow us to welcome you in as the newest member of the Wrestle Talk Familia. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. My Facebook is Joseline Navarro. Don't tag me or comment on anything right now because I've been blocked for about 24 hours. So tomorrow at like 1 o'clock, you can tag me and comment. So tomorrow, hit me up. But Instagram is Jocelyn__Navarro. And on Twitter, it's Joss_E_Navarro. And then if you want to follow me on Snapchat, it's Jossy332, which is JOSY332. You know, follow me, come hang out. I'm crazy. So those are my socials. Find me, comment on stuff. I'm very interactive.
and come out to the show. And come out to the show, right? Come out to the show.
Come out to the show.
Damn right. Damn right. Come out, have a good time with us.
Going to have fun.
It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a blast. Well, Joseline.
Bring me some pizza, maybe.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, yeah. I'm digging that idea. Well, Joseline, thank you so much once again for joining us. Just know you really are a member of the Wrestle Talk family, and we hope to talk to you again in a couple of months so you can tell us how everything's going for you, all right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we lost her just a second ago, but she did hear me. Thank you so much. Nightmare Jones, what did you think about that first hour of the show, man? Was that incredible or what, bro? That was spectacular. I can't even find any other words for it.
It was absolutely awesome. Like, what a amazing lady. I can't.
She's so young too, bro. So young.
I know.
I know I'm dating myself a little bit, bro. My daughter's like 17 going on 18. She's 23. They kind of have like similar vibe. Like these girls, man, they're taking over the world, and that's a good thing, man. There's a lot of smart girls with great ideas that are willing to work hard, man. Nothing makes me happier than to be able to shine the spotlight on somebody like that, bro. I couldn't agree with you more.
I agree. I agree 100%. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to break. We're going to be back in
2 minutes?
2 minutes. I have been instructed that this is the break song that we have to play.
You've been instructed?
I don't know why, but it's
oh, my gosh.
Mr. Timmy is saying that we've been instructed that we have to play this song. So we'll be back in 2 minutes, and we'll see what happens.
I'm at the teabag Timmy. That's what's going to happen. What? I like it, though. Yeah.
Muted.
See y'all in a minute.
Yo, what up? Night Out. Nightmare Jones. What up, Wrestle Talk fam? Do it for y'all. Check me out. Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. Even them haters can't hate us no more. So unlock your door, cause we got some more. Every Wednesday we here, keeping it raw. Night Out, Nightmare Jones, and all the best guests. Like a double barrel pointed right at your chest. Wrestle Talk Podcast.com. Smashing and killing it like a night at a prom.
Unmuted.
We are back. We're back. We're back. Jonesy.
We are back.
Nightmare Jones, you know what? Instead of you and me beefing today, I'm going to actually have you join me for this segment. Do you think you can behave yourself for like the next 10 or 12 minutes?
I always behave myself.
All right.
I always behave. I don't know why I get such a bad rap.
Okay, well, here's what I want to say. For those who are new to the show, this is our FWWC segment, and for the next 10 or 12 minutes, we're going to talk to members of the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion. They're going to call in, they're going to talk their trash, they're going to talk about matches, they're going to talk about their brands, and we just want you to join in and enjoy. Because these folks are not your typical E-Fed superstars. No, they are part of the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion. And you know what, Nightmare Jones? I know La Familia recently suffered a significant loss in Rick Rose, a former member of the FWWC. So I figure we'll start off on a neutral topic. Can you talk to us a little bit about Rick's career here in the FWWC? Because I know you guys had a love and hate relationship. At first you hated each other, and then you both end up as members of La Familia. Who would have thought it? Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
So basically, here was Rick's career in the FWWC. Now, Rick and I were never in La Familia together. I joined La Familia after he had already left the FWWC. But Rick's career was, he could cut a really good promo, but he wasn't the best at matches. But this dude cut the best promos. I remember when he entered himself into the match for the brand new United States Championship. He didn't just do a regular match, a regular promo. No, he did a promo where he was naked in a bathtub. I know you remember this promo. I know that you remember. That's stuff that Rick.
Well.
Yeah, that's just the kind of stuff that Rick would do. Like, he knew how to push people's buttons. And that is one of the reasons why Rick and Bacon could not coexist, because they were both almost exactly the same. But we're not going to mention Bacon anymore, so let's go ahead and bring on the next caller.
Well, hold on. I do want to address something. So I think it was episode 300, and we're going to have him back on to talk about this. But something happened during the show that I think should be addressed, at least partially today. So during episode 300, we had Sonny Money Mayo. And obviously when Rick left the FWWC, he did not leave under good terms. Okay? Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Rick and I had our differences. We're not going to go into that. Hey, Herb Simmons, we love you. Thank you for being here as well. Thanks for being here for a good part of the show, man. That's awesome. We're always grateful to you. Believe me, we are. But anyway, so Rick, let's just say he wasn't fulfilling some promises. He left, and when he left, it kind of was not good. It was not smooth. So on episode 300, when we were talking about like the FWWC and everything, Sonny Money Mayo was here, and he was like, yo, F Rick Rose. Nah, F Rick Rose. Like on some stuff like that. And I just want to make sure everybody understands. I'll let him speak for himself. That was Sonny Money Mayo, the character, talking. That was not Sonny Steven Mayo, right? The individual. So when we do this podcast or on our Facebook page or whatever, we are in character. We are portraying another persona. That's why we say everything as in wrestling minus the actual wrestling. We have a locker room. We have real championships. We compete with each other. Usually it's via picks, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays during Raw, NXT, or AEW and SmackDown, and then during pay-per-views. Our scoring system is very unique. Okay, it's not like other E-Feds where you cut a promo and somebody just types out everything for you. There's real competition. So we'll have him on at some point, maybe for the Memorial Edition, and I'll let him clarify himself. But that was something that was kind of weighing on me because I was like, okay, hopefully everybody remembers that was in character. I wanted to bring that up and make that clear because I don't want anything to soil this day, this moment where we're trying to, highlight and remember Rick for everything that he contributed, not only to Wrestle Talk Podcast, Joe, but also to the FWWC. Does that all sound fair?
Absolutely, 100%.
Cool.
100%.
Cool, man.
Right,
Thank you, Joe.
But what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and bring on this lady. She calls it every single week, ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about your Inferno General Manager, Hardcore Sis. Now, Hardcore Sis, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to answer. I'm going to ask the tough question. Are you ready for this tough question?
Throw it at me, Nightmare. Just go right ahead.
Okay. So there was a gentleman that had been doing matches, well, trying to do matches on the Inferno by the name of Corey Tombstone, and this gentleman continues to not show up for his matches, shows up for half of his matches. What exactly are you going to have to do to this dude, Corey Tombstone, to get him to understand that he's got to do his matches? What is Hardcore Sis going to have to do?
Well, you know what? Hardcore Sis is one of, a lot of people say that I'm a hard ass. But, you know, I demand nothing more from my guys that I wouldn't give if they were the GMs. And I gave Mr. Tombstone quite a few chances on my brand. And each time I gave him a chance, he let me down. One thing you don't do is cross the boss, especially if it's Susie Haas. Mr. Tombstone crossed me, and I promise you this, there will be an answer from him coming to me. What I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, when I'm going to do it, is none of your business. But it will happen, and it will happen very soon.
Okay.
He will answer to me. I will take care of Mr. Tombstone. Maybe I'll headbutt him into a tombstone.
Maybe.
But let me ask you something. I have a question for him. Mr. Tombstone, if you're listening, what do you want on your tombstone? And I'm not talking about pizza.
Whoa!
No, don't do this.
Enough is enough. My goodness. All right, let's leave that topic there because clearly, there are some unresolved issues within the four walls of the La Familia complex. But here's what I want to ask you guys. And this question really is for both of you because we do have another caller that we need to bring on. This question is about the Dark Realm Trios tournament. You two have managed to work together well enough for the Inferno brand. But now things have changed. All that is irrelevant in the Dark Realm. Nightmare Jones, you had your opportunity to face Heaven's Demons. And Sis, apparently you want yours. Can I get some thoughts from you guys about the Dark Realm Trios tournament?
Well,
you go ahead.
I will say we did, the Hefty Boys did go up against Heaven's Demons, and we did come up short, but at least we were able to unveil our new finishing move, the Tadpole Splash. That is one of the most devastating moves that you can ever think of. You got these jumping and doing a frog splash from the first rope. You got Focus doing a frog splash from the second rope. And then you've got Hardcore Haas doing a frog splash from the third and top rope. How devastating is that move, Night Owl?
Oh my gosh. I can't even believe it, bro. I think if you guys aren't careful, one day you guys are going to kill somebody with that move, bro. That's crazy. Haas from the top rope from third after you two guys? I mean, come on, let's be honest. You guys are aptly named. I mean, you guys are the Hefty Boys. Let's just be honest. When the buffet sees you guys coming, they call in people to back them up. Let's just keep it real.
Well, you know, Renee, I'll end with a quote from one of my favorite movies. If they die, they die.
Oh.
You know, I like to call that move. They did the Budweiser splash.
Hey, I like that Budweiser splash, bro. Take that back to La Familia complex. That's amazing. I dig that. I really do. Well, Sis, you heard the question. I know you're not trying to avoid it, so why don't you answer it? How do you feel about your team after what you saw last night?
Well, of course, Haas being my brother, I've got to give props to the Hefty boys, and all three of them being my La Familia brethren. Of course, I'm behind them 100%, but you fellas didn't get the job done. And my team has 2 veterans at it. And one veteran, yes, maybe he hasn't been around in a while, but he's come back just so he could step into this tournament. And yes,
well, for the record, let me just say this, sis. I do want to add, because I think there's a lack of perspective, right? Like, I heard some arguments between Mata and one of the members of SOF about, like, well, you leave and come back. Listen, this group has been around for 9 years. Big Beard Kenny was an active participant in the first 6 of those 9 years. So just because he hasn't been active the last 2 doesn't make him any less relevant in the group as far as our history. So to me, I'm with you to a certain extent. Just because he hasn't been here for the last year and a half, don't believe that Big Beard Kenny can't come in and do what he's done so many times before and whip some ass, because I've seen him do it on many occasions. Right, Jonesy? You've been around long enough. I know you're a little biased here, but I mean, Big Beard Kenny is not somebody to be trifled with.
He's not a slacker, that's for sure. And then, of course, there is the other vet on my team, Big Papa Kurt. Both of them start with the word big. So my idea was go big or go home.
Wow. Well, sis, those insights are interesting, but that's why we have the matches, and I cannot wait to hear the next announcement, right? Because we don't know who Heaven's Demons is going to face next Monday. We're just going to have to hang out. Maybe we'll find out about it on Friday during the FWWC tonight. Sis, thank you so much for your time. Did you have any closing thoughts before we let you go?
Just that this is a battle. Just like this tournament is a competition, so is the brand battle. And Inferno is definitely always bringing the heat. The Rise team may be doing good right now, but what rises will always fall. And Infinite, there's really nothing that's infinite. Come on, fellas. You say you're forever. Everything has an end. And Inferno will take you to yours. Have a good night, fellas.
Woo! Listen, my God. It sounds like she's been working at it. Because, my goodness, let's give respect where it's due. Hardcore Sis comes in and cuts promos like a gosh darn veteran. Like a pro. And that's why her brand has just as good a chance as anybody else of winning round 4 of the FWWC brand battle. How she'll do in the Dark Realm, I have no idea. But as far as the brand battle goes, I think she is putting herself in a great position. That said, we've got one final caller before we move on to our second featured interview of the evening, featuring the Star Maker, Kenny Bolin. Ladies and gentlemen, hailing from the backwoods of Kansas, a man who sits on a throne all his own. That's right, folks. Intercontinental man, former golden ticket holder. That's right, amigos. I'm talking about El Único, the one and only King of Bleach Style.
Hey, what's going on, FWWC? What's going on, Wrestle Talk Podcast, Night Owl, Nightmare Jones? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, FWWC Infinite Brand presents to you FWWC Intercontinental Champion. Oh, I just tripped. That hurt. How is everybody doing tonight?
Well, KOB, you've been listening, and I'm telling you right now, you're on borrowed time because another king wants to make sure that he gets his time, okay? And he's not a man that's going to be made to wait. Mm-hmm. Yep. So let's get to it. Uh-huh. You have been under a great deal of scrutiny.
Okay, I'll get to it.
Well, you've been under a great deal of scrutiny. That's why you're calling yourself the controversial KOB. Talk to us a little bit about that controversy, and also talk to us, because I've been hearing rumors about you in the Dark Realm tournament. So why don't you do me a favor and shed some light on both of those topics? Where is the controversy coming from? Let's start with that one.
Well, the most controversial superstar here in the FWC. Bleach controversy is running wild because I'm just an asshole and I like to talk a lot of shit. I mean, I can't remember if I'm allowed to cuss, so my apologies.
Yes, you are. Please proceed.
I like to talk a lot of shit. People like to get up in my face, and then I come up to their face, and then they don't like that, and then, it kind of happens like that. People don't like it when somebody just steps up and says, you know what, throw a punch. They throw a punch and they hit it, congratulations. If they don't, well, they're just like everybody else. Everybody wants to say that the KOB is nothing but boring and a bitch.
Whoa. No, KOB, listen. KOB, you're becoming a veteran in this group, and I can't let you get away with that because you know how we do here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. Nobody escapes the difficult questions. Here is the question. Here's what the people want to know. Why, oh why, did you have to face Swag, okay, for your golden ticket? Nobody has ever explained that, okay? Nobody has ever explained that. Nobody has ever explained what happened.
Whoa. Isn't he my biggest cheerleader? How you doing, Mr. Mayhem?
It is time for KOB to take a cat nap. We've heard enough of his nonsense.
Mayhem.
It is time for the real mastermind.
Mayhem.
The real asshole to FWWC.
Mayhem, listen.
Yes, one more question I'm going to answer.
No, wait a second. No, Mayhem, I think you'll appreciate this. I know you're a guy also that doesn't like to be made to wait, but I think you'll appreciate this because you interrupted at a great time. You see, what I was asking KOB was this, okay? Why did he have to defend his golden ticket against Swag? Because nobody has given the FWWC Universe an answer. And number two, what happened with Infinite at FWWC Backlash? You remember there was a main event? Daniel Grimm, Sick, one other guy. Do you have any answers for us, KOB? I wonder. You want to shed some light on that? Because you know what?
I can answer one of those, because the other one, can I go ahead? I'm going to go ahead. So, as I said, when I was a special guest on the FWC tonight, I said that I don't want to talk about it, and I gave you an answer. I apologize, and that's that. But I can answer on the Backlash incident.
Oh, really? So you don't want to talk about it? That's how you're going to get out of this one? Are you serious, man?
I don't really want to tuck my tail between my own legs. My ego's too high. I don't want to bring it down. So I'm going to keep it where it's at.
You know what, KOB? That's fine. You know what? That's fine. We give you airtime here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. We ask you the difficult questions. You promise, you swear that you understand what it is to be a champion, but you can't give us a straight answer. That's fine. You want to plead the fifth? That is within your rights. All I want you to know is, where is Tank Westbrook to answer these questions? Because he decided to give himself a vacation after everybody else had already taken a vacation. So a 2-week vacation. And that goes for the Saviors of Funk as well. So why don't you try answering that one? Why did everyone give themselves a second week of vacation? Come on, KOB, you seem to be one of the few people who actually likes to work on the Infinite brand. Doesn't that bother you, man?
What's a vacation? I don't know what a vacation is. KOB ain't going on vacation. KOB is staying here, and he's defending, well, as a lot of people say, I don't defend, the Intercontinental title. But I do want to answer on that Backlash thing.
Go ahead.
I know one special gentleman who does not like... You asked me a question. Can I answer that?
Yes.
All right. I'm sorry. I heard you talking. I couldn't hear. So, Backlash. Something did happen. And every time I mention it to him, he gets very, 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 very angry. And I know he's listening. So, if he is not, he can listen back. But if he is, Mr. Grimm, you know what you did, and I don't like it one bit. I'm not going to expose you. You can come clean, son. Come clean. Because I know what happened. And you could have been looking at Bleacher 3 belts.
Wow. Well, KOB, I take about 14% of what I said, because the fact that you were willing to put yourself out there to defend yourself. Because I, much like the rest of the FWWC universe, feel like we need to talk about it. Because some things are right and some things are wrong. And without question, there are some things that are wrong that are going on in the FWWC right now. KOB, I have to say, you've been a tremendous Intercontinental Champion. Keep it up. Don't let the naysayer... I mean, you heard our first guest, Joseline Navarro, okay? Coming from Jamaica, coming from the Dominican Republic. Totally underestimated, much like yourself. And look at you now. You're working on becoming the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. And personally, I'm proud of you. Marcus Mayhem, I know you're about to interrupt and ruin this moment, but I just want to say, KOB, I'm very proud of you, man. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Grazie. Wow, he knew exactly what I was going to do. He's got to go. His lawnmower is on fire. He needs to go. It's mayhem time.
Mayhem, come on now, man. You can't dog a man for his day job. What do you got to be like that for?
Hey, I'm just keeping it real, okay? He's busy selling Avon products. I'm busy, doing what I do best. Winning belts.
Gotta relax.
Me and the Heaven's Demons won a huge match yesterday, furthermore proving why we're the best trio in the FWWC and why it's futile for anyone else to try and even remotely think they have a chance. But in light of that, we are welcoming more people. I know there's more people out there who can band together, come up with the 5 large apiece, and join the greatest trios tournament ever in fantasy wrestling.
Wow. Well, Mayhem, I would love to be able to dispute what you just said, but you guys proved it last night. I have to ask, why? Why did you guys decide to do this trios tournament? I mean, I get what it's going to do for the group, but knowing Heaven's Demons, there's always something selfish behind everything that you guys do. So why don't you answer that question? What is in it for Heaven's Demons to be doing the Dark Realm Trios tournament? Because it's awfully fishy to yours truly.
You're one of the many naysayers who pander to the thought of Heaven's Demons and La Familia always scheming, always having some underlying, scheme to screw people out of, belts and all this other stuff. But no, this is an opportunity for people to step up. It's an opportunity for people to say, you know what? The 3 of us, we beat 3 of the best in the FWWC. And on top of that, we get these nice custom-made medals to put around our neck to prove our worth in the group. I think it's more than fair that, those who haven't even given it a consideration should come in and try. It's not a lot. 5 large is not a lot. A lot of you spend more than that on, fast food. I can tell. So if you can go through the drive-thru and get yourself a Big Mac meal or something from KFC, then you should be able to put that towards claiming fame in the trios tournament. So that's pretty much where it's at. We're giving people an opportunity to shine in the FWWC and to quit complaining about La Familia always rigging things for them to win. We just beat 3 of our own. Okay? Simple as that.
Well, Mayhem, I'm getting a message right now, and it's a question from an undisclosed person. They don't want to be identified, and here's the question, and then we'll go ahead and let you go. What if you had the opportunity to pick your ideal opponent from the teams that have already been announced? From what I hear, there may be more teams coming. But from the teams that have already been announced, if you could choose from any of those people to face in the final after the tournament is over, what team would you choose to face?
That's a tough one. That is a tough one. But, I'm going to have to go with the team that's led by Heel Deal. And I have to say that because, the Heel Deal is someone that I respect. And especially, us being part of Heel Mayhem and our history together. I know the man the man can put together a great squad, and he's a great leader. And I think that regardless of what people might say about him, he's more cunning than what people give him credit for.
I agree with that.
I can also say about the team with Remy Rich and Funky Flex and Saint, because let's face it, the SOF have also been a thorn in our sides for so long. And Remy Rich, he's been on the tear since he's gotten back, taking no prisoners, having the liberty of, throwing me in the trunk, blindsiding me, and then all the extra shenanigan crap yesterday. So I gotta say, it's between those two teams. I can't really pick one.
That's fair. That is fair. You know what? We look forward to seeing you guys continue to compete. I will speak for the rest of the FWWC Mayhem and say this. I think it's about damn time that Heaven's Demons step up and actually start having matches, because for as much crap as you guys talk, you have very few matches. So that said, any final quick thoughts for the members of the FWWC?
Not much. I'm still waiting on some, I guess you want to call it, good opponents for my hardcore championship at SummerSlam. So far, I've only had maybe one or two people even clamor for it. So I know it's going to be a cross-brand match, and so far, Infinite and Rise have pretty much wet the bed. Nobody has stepped up. So I know you guys are listening out there. If you want a shot at this title, if you want a shot at losing, then make your voice heard.
Boom, there it is, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only former general manager in the FWWC and actually winner of year 3 of the FWWC brand battle, La Familia's very own Marcus Mayhem. All that said, folks, we promised and we have delivered once again. When we say that we're going to bring the best talent in professional wrestling to the Wrestle Talk Podcast airwaves every single week, we're not lying, because our next guest has been one of the most highly rated guests anytime he comes on here on the Wrestle Talk Podcast, and I'm sure tonight will be no different. Nightmare Jones, I usually do this part, but I think it's only fair now that we're on our 3rd visit with this individual that you finish off the rest of the introduction. Can you go ahead and do that for us?
Exactly, ladies and gentlemen. They don't call him the Star Maker for nothing. He's a former professional wrestling commentator and a manager. He's one of the greatest managers in the history of Ohio Valley wrestling. He managed John Cena as he was called the prototype. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our honor and privilege to bring on the Star Maker, Joseline Kenny Bolin.
I like that.
Mr. Bolin, how are you today, sir?
You got to be the luckiest sumbitch on the planet Earth to have Kenny the Star Maker Bolin on your show after I just did a fantastic live YouTube show with my good buddy Rico Constantino. I know you were watching. You weren't actually doing a show yourself during my show, were you?
that is a good one. Funny story, Renee. Me and Kenny at one time were playing a Facebook Messenger game, 2-2, and I think that I'm doing pretty good. I'm hanging in there, and then the next thing I know, Kenny just goes off and just gets a score that there was no way I was even going to try to beat it. So I was like, you in? I just walked away.
Smart move.
True story.
Well, they're probably a smart move. When was the last time I was on your guys' show? I did one a while back. I just don't remember when.
Yeah, it was. It's been a while, sir. It has been a while. So
and by the way, you coughed during my introduction. What kind of a cheap shot was that? The cough during my introduction. Have you been tested?
I couldn't.
Have you been tested?
I didn't see.
Have you been tested? Are you trying to give me the COVID over the phone or something?
What's wrong with you, Joe?
I would never do that.
No, Kenny, don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I think Joe has just been on a diet, and he's been consuming a lot of that hippie lettuce. I think that's where it came from.
Hippie lettuce.
Yep. I think
I don't know if that's good for a diet or not, but hey, whatever works, I guess.
Well, yes, Kenny, it has been a while since you've been on the podcast, and what's been new with Kenny Bolin?
Well, the last time I was on, had I had my weight loss surgery yet?
Right before.
Not. I believe that you were trying.
Oh, my. Okay. Well, yeah, things have changed quite a bit since then. Of course, if you follow me on Facebook or Twitter, I'm sure you've seen the gradual changes over the last 14 months now, I guess. And we're down from my worst weight to where I'm at now. We're down about 265 pounds, give or take, depending if I took my Bumax that day or not.
Wow, bro, that's crazy.
So, yeah, you basically, I've lost more weight than you probably are in size, would be my guess.
Joe, at least, yo, that's a whole person. That's a whole person.
That's a whole big person. 265-pound man's a pretty big man.
You're right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
180-pound man, we call them pussies.
What? Wait a minute.
My son does, anyway. Wait a minute, Maya. I think I just upset about 15 pussies in that room over there. All of them under 180 pounds.
Wow, that is absolutely awesome. So, you are the CEO of Beats by Bolin.
I am.
Can you explain what exactly Beats by Bolin is?
I thought you was going to ask me how to spell CEO.
I know how to spell CEO.
Do you know what CEO stands for?
Chief Executive Officer.
Bless your heart. Well, if you know that much, I guess I can tell you. Now, what was your question again? Because I was too busy shitting on you.
The question was, for the fans that don't know, what exactly is Beats by Bolin?
Beats by Bolin is a company that I started about 8 years ago. Beats by Bolin Incorporated, BEETS, to make sure we don't get sued. And what I started out selling knockoff beats. And everybody knew they were knockoff. Hell, you can't buy a goddamn set of beats for $39 or the wireless version for $59.
Nope.
But everybody knew they were knockoffs. And, of course, I was spelling it BEETS to keep anybody from fucking with me. Well, Cornette used to laugh at me. He thought, I can't believe you're selling them damn headphones. You ain't going to make no money doing that. Well, we didn't do too bad. We've been selling them for approximately 8 years now. But finally, we evolved in the quality, and the only ones I sell now are the JBL wireless headphones and the Monster Intens, which have been a mainstay for the last 8 years. And what we do is we put the Bowling Club logo or the BS logo or even your favorite sports logos. We put them on there, but we still call them Beats by Bolin, even though I don't no longer sell the knockoff Beats. I think I actually sold my last set of the knockoff Beats, probably 6-7 months ago. That was I don't expect to sell the knockoffs anymore. I like to push the higher quality ones with the Monster Intunes, which can list anywhere from $199 to $249. We sell ours for $79. And the JBLs can list way up in the hundreds as well, and we sell those also for $79.95. My distributor, Shinsuke Nakamura, supplies me with all the headsets.
That's awesome.
You like Shinsuke Nakamura? I think you know him.
Yeah, he said. Yeah.
By the way,
yeah, my cousin Juanito, he hooked me up. I know who you're talking about.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
Oh my goodness! I have one more question, and then I'm going to go to when you've been in the wrestling business for quite some time, and I would like to know what your thoughts of the state of professional wrestling right now. They're doing shows with no fans, so fans now that they've I guess some of the talents that are not used. So what do you think that the state of professional wrestling is in?
Well, a dire need of a transfusion, from what I can tell. But I'm probably not the best person to ask because I see so damn little of it. I was keeping up with the Asian wrestlers a little bit in the WWE. I hear Kairi Sane got let go, which I think is the dumbest damn thing I've ever heard in my life. She's one of the better talents they've got, and I don't say that just because she's a beautiful Asian girl. She's a very talented wrestler. And her insane elbow drop's one of the best things I've ever seen. And
she's still there, Kenny.
Let go. I don't know if
Kenny,
that's true or not.
she's still there.
She's still there. Well, thank God for that.
Yeah,
Thank
it's a
God
good.
for
Yeah,
that.
I agree with you though. She's fantastic.
Her and Asuka are just one hell of a team. I love Asuka on commentary, but I don't see enough of it to really get to judge too much. Yeah. If I happen to click it on and I see or hear that Asuka or Shinsuke or Kairi is going to be on, I'll watch it. Other than that, I don't see anything. I've seen 15 minutes of AEW. I've probably seen 15 minutes of NXT. And if there's any other companies like NWA, I haven't seen any of that because Cornette's racist mouth was on there, so I didn't watch any of that. But Aaron the Idol Stevens is there, and I probably should give it a shot just because Aaron's on. But fuck, I doubt they're doing any shows right now, are they?
No.
Is NWA filming anything? They got that little small studio.
No, LaGreca got accused of something, right, with the Me Too deal. And so they kind of shut down operation as well, right? Is that right, Joe?
How many wrestlers in WWE have been labeled with that so far?
Bro,
I think that the one that I can think of is Matt Riddle.
Oh, really? He's the only one? Really? All right.
A lot of indie guys, though.
Brock Lesnar got accused of it.
No, a lot of indie guys.
Reynolds. Yeah, Brock Lesnar was accused by Terry Reynolds, and there's a name I keep waiting to see come up that ain't come up yet. I'm not going to drop it right here, but there is a name that, boy, I'm shocked it ain't come up yet. That was a former Ohio Valley wrestler. We'll just have to stay tuned and see what happens. Unless they're scared of him, I don't know what the deal is. What's that?
I mean, hell, Cornette's even the name is the whole
Cornette's came up. Jerry Waller's name came up. Vince McMahon's name came up. Some names I really didn't expect to see came up. Vince Russo. And I found out why Russo got labeled with it. Russo does a thing on his podcast. Maya, listen to this if you can hear me. Russo does a thing on his podcast where he has his guests call into the show. And if they call into the show, he has them put their wives on, or girlfriends if they're married, and he evaluates them. And he says, hey, do you have a hot wife? He says, well, of course, if they have a wife or a girlfriend, they're going to say they're hot. And he says, Kenny, in all seriousness, no matter what they look like, I always put them over. There's no such thing as an ugly girl to Vince Russo, especially on the show. You do this to build their ego, their confidence, what have you.
Of course.
So he puts the girls over. Well, apparently somebody got offended by it regardless. I don't know if it was the person he said it to or someone got offended for someone else, but because he was evaluating women's looks on his show, he got mentioned in the Me Too, You Too, You So, or whatever the hell they're calling it now. The Speak Out. This is the Speak Out, right? Is this the Speak Out, Mike?
Speak Out, Me Too. It's the same thing.
Me Too, Speak Out, yeah.
Same thing, yeah.
And, of course, the world is shocked that my name hasn't come up yet, and actually so am I, because I have said probably some of the most offensive things in the world, most of it in the context of television or at a show, but everybody knows I respect dogs, so I guess they're giving me a slide. I don't know.
All right, bro.
Let's put it this way: I've never took anything that wasn't offered to me, and I never took anything that was underage. So that's about all the hell you can do, I guess.
There you go. That's all that you can do. All right, Renee. I know you have a bunch of questions for the Soulmaker, so have a race, sir.
All right. Well, those were some good questions, Joe. I'll see what I can do to follow up. So, Kenny, you said you don't necessarily follow the current product all that much, especially since there's no fans.
Not much, man. I record them all in case the itch ever hits me. I record every one of them, but I can promise you I haven't seen 30 minutes combined of AEW and NXT. Not really any talents down there that I've seen that just kind of make me want to tune in. Me and Rico talked tonight how stupid it is that they climb the ropes and sell to a crowd that's not there, cut promos to a crowd that's not there. It's just stupid shit. It's just fucking hard to watch. And but like I said, Asuka can make anything funny. She is so talented, and she's the best commentator on the show. If she's commentating, I'll watch the whole thing. and it ain't because I think Asuka's pretty, you know, because Asuka's not even on camera when she's doing most of that shit. She's just a fucking funny human being, man. And but I love her. She's good. She actually retweeted one of my tweets recently. Just made my day. Never met her. I don't know if I'll ever get to. Carice Sane, I understand, just got married, but I don't know who she married. Can't believe she's cheating on me, to be honest with you, but what do you do?
Apparently, the rumor for Charlie Shane is that she is about to leave the WWE. She's going to go back to Japan. She's going to wrestle for a year.
Yeah.
She's going to retire from professional wrestling.
Going to retire in one more year. Well, she's been around a little while. I've heard about her for quite some time. And I thought maybe she's going to retire and have a baby. And currently, I am kind of sort of technically single, so, you know. if you want to have an old baby, I'm your guy.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Public service announcement from the Star Maker, Kenny Bolin. Well, let me...
Yeah, surely the older of a man you are, the older the kid is when it's born would be my guess. I don't know.
I think that's how it works. There's a
kid be born, be 19 years old, you know?
That would be something else. Well, Kenny, the reason I ask, or the reason that I say that is, I know that it's hard for you to get excited for what you see, and I'm curious, why is that? Is there something?
I thought you were trying to make a sexual contact there for a minute.
Whoa, take it easy. Hey, you got to relax, Kenny Bolin. Yeah. Well, so I could use an appropriate word. I could say it's hard for you. It's hard for the current brand of wrestling to arouse you, Kenny. And we want to know why.
There you go. I would go along with that. The current brand does not arouse me. I think that's a safe bet. Yeah.
Why though, Kenny? What's missing?
Used to be back in the day. Well, you don't believe any goddamn thing. It used to be back in the day when you watched Jerry Lawler, Dutch Mantel, Bill Dundee, various others on television. They would make you believe what they were saying and what they were doing because they had the freedom to do so and the talent to do so. What we have now are a bunch of comic book writers writing for pro wrestlers. Comic book writers, as a rule, don't know shit about pro wrestling. They don't know the mentality of the wrestling fan. And Maya's always getting on how stupid my fans are all the time. They want to believe. I mean, there are people that know me real well that don't know when I'm shooting with them or when I'm, just fucking around. They just don't know. And that is the art of being able to tell a story, is you got to make them believe the story. And there's just not many people. I mean, short of Chris Jericho, there's not too many people able to do that right now that are still actually wrestling on television. It's all scripted bullshit that's easy to read through. And back in the day, Jerry Lawler, and Maya's even admitted this herself, told one hell of a story without screaming, without yelling, made you believe him. Because Maya does not like the Hulk Hogan promo, all the screaming and the yelling and the vitamins and all this shit. She liked the psychology of what Jerry could do. Even though she doesn't really like Jerry himself, she admired the psychology and his ability to tell a story. Ric Flair, on the other hand, was technically a screamer and a yeller. That promo didn't excite her too much. Terry Funk, on the other hand, could go either way, but basically was an excellent storyteller, even though he could scream and yell with the best of them. And then Lawler, from time to time, would do that too. So it takes being a good storyteller, being as a good guy or a bad guy, to believe the shit you're putting on, and then to be able to work in the ring to back up the work with the story. And there's so very few people that can do that these days, especially in all of the companies. Most of them are good spot monkeys and good at reading a script and memorizing it. They're not good at freelancing and going on their own, and if they want to get pissed at me for saying that, so be it, but it's the God's honest truth. There's not many that have that ability, or if they have that ability, they're not being permitted to show it because they tell you to stick to the script.
Man, that sounds...
Now, does that answer your question?
No, it does so much, and it really echoes a lot of the people that we have on the show. By the way, a big salute to you from the pro wrestling legend, in my opinion, SICW's very own Herb Simmons sends his kindest regards, Kenny.
Yeah?
Yep.
Herb Simmons is a good man. I chat with Herb from time to time. He's a legend in the St. Louis area, and I chat with Herb from time to time. he loves me and I love him, and I appreciate that. I got a lot of respect for Herb. He's a good guy.
Same here, man. Absolutely. I just want to make sure I pass along the message. So I want to ask you a question where it would be extremely easy.
Herb paid me to say that, by the way. I think Herb owes me $50 now.
Herb, you heard that? He said you owe him $50 for the kind regards.
I'll be looking for something in my PayPal account tonight, Herb. I'm looking at my PayPal account right now.
Yeah, he said he knows. He said you know his PayPal. You know where to send it. Well, listen, Kenny.
He knows my PayPal. It's on the show tonight.
He does. And if not, we'll drop it in the thread just in case.
Now, who did you have on before me?
Well, we were talking to the members of the FWWC, what we like to call the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion. That's who was on just before you.
Right. Yeah, the last time you had me on, you had these fantasy wrestlers on, I think. And yeah, I remember that.
Dude, they're over. No, dude, they're so over. We can get into that some other time, but I'm telling you, these guys have that passion.
That'd be... Some other time would be a great time to do that.
All right, you got it.
Some other place.
Let me jump into my next question, though, because I think...
The Alan Parsons Project, some other place, some other time.
That's right. And you know what? I want to ask you my next question because I know it'll be extremely easy for you, Kenny, to be biased when I ask this question, but I'm going to ask you not to be. Because when I listen to you talk, you're very uncensored, you're very direct. I could totally see when you say, hey, sometimes my own friends don't know if I'm just kind of, ribbing them or they don't know if I'm being serious. And that,
as Jerry Jarrett said it, I have no clue when you're working and when you're shooting, and that's when you know you're doing your job. When somebody is smart and is intelligent and has taught as many people how to do this as Jerry Jarrett has.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot of this from Jerry Lawler. I mean, like him or dislike him or agree with some of the shit he said or done, I learned a lot from him. I knew in my head in high school I was going to be the next Jerry Lawler, whether it was as a wrestler or a manager. And I learned that, you know what, taking $1 a month as opposed to 15 a night is a lot more fun. So, and easier on my body. So I was more than happy to be the managerial version of Jerry the King Lawler, and that's why I was Kenny the King Bolin in tribute to him. And then I liked it when I became the Star Maker, because in all of wrestling, there were no other people going by Star Maker. There's always the King of this and the Lord of that and Duke of this, but there were no other Star Makers. And so I got to be the only one. And so I'd say half the people still call me King, half still call me Star Maker. And there's another 25% that will call me both, depending what day of the week it is.
No doubt. And I think it also depends what mood you're in, because you can definitely be a little bit of both, a king and a Star Maker.
Yeah. A lot of it depends on my mood. I was sleepier and shit tonight and didn't even want to do my own show, but I'm kind of pumped up now and
let's go.
I'm not minding it too bad. Shit, I was trying to talk myself out of doing the show earlier tonight. I was so tired and sleepy.
No, it's all good. Well, then let me hit you with the question then, and here it is. Like I said, I think it'll be easy for you to be biased, but I'm going to ask you not to be, and I'm going to ask you about your old dear.
Well, all right.
Your old dear personal friend.
You can ask me anything you want.
Okay, your old dear friend Jimmy Cornette, and it's not the same old questions that you always get about the beef between you and him. This is something where I would like for you to be as subjective as possible. And you were talking about the NWA a little bit earlier. You were talking about the NWA a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
The comments that led to him leaving the company. As a guy who is as unfiltered as you are and is so quick-witted as you are, did you see the issue with what he said? Do you think it justified the reaction that it got?
Certainly in this day and age, there's shit. Me and Maya and Chris talked about it today, the shit the comedians could say in the 70s and 80s. I watched a Rodney Dangerfield special a couple of nights ago.
He's great,
that was
by
in
the way.
Early 80s that would make most people's skin crawl. Now, I sit there and laugh my ass off because I know the intent it was sent with.
Right.
Everything was racist back then. It was all race wars and pit this race against this race. And then that's all comedy was in a good, and especially New York style comedy, which is what this was. It was at Dangerfield in goddamn downtown New York. And the race shit is what flew. That's what you did. So so when you put it into the concept of time, that comment wasn't even that cool when Jimmy said it, because it really paints blacks in a bad way. And to say it today is even probably 10 times worse. And he should have known better. He doesn't. Well, I think he does, but it's kind of like the criticisms I've had of Donald Trump. You really think Donald Trump gives a shit about a fucking Confederate statue and a rebel or Confederate flag?
Probably not.
He was born and raised in the New York area. He barely ever fucking left New York. He doesn't a bit more know any more about the goddamn Confederacy than I know more than he does. I had to debate the Confederates and the Civil War in the 5th grade, and I had to take the side of the Confederates. I mean, that was what I was assigned. You defend the Confederates. Marty Kowach from Pittsburgh is going to defend the North.
Hey, no wonder you can talk shit like the best.
Kowach's name.
That's why nobody can talk shit like Kenny Bolin, because you had to defend the Confederacy. Good luck with that. That's a hard stance to take, man.
Key though, when you do that shit, you got to convince yourself in your head you're right. And man, even in the 5th grade, but you're doing this in a school with no black people. There were no black people at Liberty Elementary. I was raised by a racist family. My father was one of the top leaders of the KKK. I didn't know that at the time, but he was. And I was raised around that shit. And so my brother, who has not evolved much from how he was raised and what he was raised around, through time, I evolved out of the majority of that. We all slip up. We all say stupid shit from time to time. We all get mad, say things we wish we hadn't said. But some people say it a lot more often than others, and with ill intent. And me and Maya are all the time. Well, I think that was racist, and you can almost take anything these days and try to make a racist comment out of it. Well, that was racist. But the N word was a common thing around all my families on like 4 different sides of the family. I was born a Bolin, raised a Risen, found out I was a Stallings, and then I'm sure there was another side of the family there that I didn't know much of anything about. But you have to evolve. And Jimmy should have known better. But Jimmy race bait. The religion. I mean, I don't believe in God either. But goddamn, to cut a promo on people that believe in religion every damn week. As me and Chris have said it many times, when Percy Pringle died, or whatever name you knew him as, Paul Bearer, what have it, we were both crying in the car, sad that he had died. He says, "Dad, you know what? I hope he's right." You hope he's right about what? About God. He said, if there's anybody that deserves to meet God, he said, it's that guy. He said he was too good to be in the wrestling business. And he was. He was too good, because the wrestling business, as you're seeing, can be a shitty fucking business. And if you let yourself get sucked up into it, you get involved into that shit. And some people let it affect them, some people don't. Guys like Rico and myself and various others shy away from that shit. We don't want to be a part of that. Others get absorbed into it and will do whatever it takes to please the guys, to please the boss. And some people, like Cornette, don't know any other life. I mean, someone pointed out, well, God, Kenny, he's been married 5 times or 5 common law marriages, what the fuck ever. And he's always been with ring rats. And when he wants to go out with other girls, they're always ring rats. I mean, that's what Jimmy likes. That's what he was raised around. I don't think he would know how to be with a corporate CEO at Humana. I don't think he would understand. I don't think he would enter his mind to be with such a person. And that's not a criticism or an insult. That's just what he likes and what he wants. I mean, you don't accidentally end up with 5 rats. And it's a shame to call them that, but that's what they were known as. They went to the wrestling matches to find their next man, either to marry or fuck. I mean, that's what the goddamn deal. That's where the term came from. That's why they were there. When I'd go to the Louisville Gardens, I wasn't looking for my wife. I was looking for somebody to have fun with that evening. And be that good or bad. That's what the culture was then. And I don't know. It's
real
it's
shit.
A different world now. It's not the way it was in 1977.
That's real shit. So then I guess just taking your comments and kind of redirecting them back to the question. So you think that his comments were ill-advised, and that he's smart enough that he knew the response he was going to get when he said it. He just didn't think he'd get fired over it. He knew it was going to be controversial. He wanted to make his base laugh and pop and think it was funny, just like Trump does. He says a lot of shit that is only aimed for the base. He's not worried about the other 70% of us. I got to keep my base because I ain't getting the rest of these people. So I got to keep my base and hope the other fuckers don't show up to vote.
That's pretty much it. And Jimmy's the same way. As long as he gets to hear some kind words from his base, he's fine. And, well, if that's how he wants to go through life, that's on him. You know, the rest of us don't have to put up with it. But there's a certain percentage of people that are never leave Jimmy's side, and I've always been, you are who you stand by. And if I were continuing to stand by Jimmy right now and continue to make excuses for him, that shit's on me. But Jimmy and I have not hardly spoken a word in 4, maybe pushing 5 years. He's been mad at me since I lived in my previous home because I work with Vince Russo. Get the fuck over it. Russo is a 10 times better guy than me or Jimmy fucking ever hoped to be. And I'm including myself in that. Even though I think I'm more charitable than Russo. But, he might have more bills than I have. I don't know. I don't have too many bills. What do you do?
That's fair, Kenny. And I appreciate your sincerity on that topic because, like I said, easy for you to be biased. But you know what? I happen to agree. I think a lot of people, there was nothing to misinterpret there. The joke was clearly racial, and his lack of sensitivity, I think, just speaks to who he is as a person. But at the same time, I'm like you. I could hold on, Kenny. I could sit and watch a Richard Pryor or a Dave Chappelle special and understand that they're there for the sake of entertainment, like what Jimmy's trying to do. But there are things that are a little taboo, and that you do need to evolve from it, and that's what it's about, right? Like, okay, yeah, that shit was funny 10 years ago, but bro, like, you make cancer jokes, right, and obesity jokes, and then somebody in your family dies, and then that shit's not funny anymore. You make COVID-19 jokes. Let's take tonight for example. We had a former host of this show, Kenny, Rick Rose. He was one of the original. Everybody makes COVID-19 jokes. Well, we lost a guy that used to be our partner. Just on the 4th of July, he passed away from COVID-19. Guess what? That shit ain't really funny no more. So I'm with you 100% on that.
Well, I had a friend of mine that wanted us to sell COVID-19 drinks, and I kept telling him, I said, I don't think that's a good idea. And he wanted to invest some serious money into these COVID drinks, and we were going to make a killing. I said, man, I don't know. I said, why don't we just advertise this on Facebook? And the fans did not find it funny. We didn't get an offer to buy one bottle. So I saved him about $1,000 and saved myself a few hundred because he was wanting me to go in on it with him. I'm not going to mention his name, but he's a very smart and educated attorney who should have known this was not a good idea. So I had to smarten the attorney up and go, you know what, let's advertise this on Facebook. And within 24 hours, we had to take that shit down. It was not a good idea.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Well, Jonesy, Kenny.
Congratulations to my friend Vanessa. She got hired today at her new job, and she's going to be making roughly 17,000 pesos a month plus bonuses. And in the Philippines, that is above average pay. So big hand for my friend Vanessa. I'm very happy.
Let's go, Vanessa. Excellent stuff. Let's go. Progress, baby.
She's been without a job since she's been without a job since December due to COVID because the shit's been pretty bad over there too.
I imagine.
And their government shut down satellite transmission so they don't get the fucking real story. And it's pretty bad over there too. And I'm happy for her, man. She's really struggled these last several months, and she's got a couple of kids and a boyfriend and a dad she's taking care of, and who's 70-something years old, who's a refrigerator repairman, I just found out today, and an air conditioning repairman. And, if anyone needed a good job today, it was her, and I'm so happy for her. And I just got that news as I was talking to you guys. So
that's fantastic.
I know she's not listening, but just
thanks for sharing that,
care
Kenny.
about people other than myself.
No, thank you so much for sharing that with us, man. Any vibes like that, man, we welcome them here on the show.
And she was not ever one of my Filipino girlfriends. She's just a sweet person that used to be my customer service rep when I was with Spectrum. Maya adores her. She's just a good, sweet, kind person. And we've helped her a few times over the years. She's just a good person, man. And that's all I can say about that.
I love those positive vibes, man. That's what I'm saying, Joe. I know you love it too. Well, you know what? We got the positive vibes out of the way. And now it's time to get a little competitive because I know one thing about Kenny Bolin.
As the notorious Johnny Bolin would say, fuck a bunch of positivity.
Yeah, fuck all that positivity. Let's get into tonight's edition of the Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge because Kenny Bolin, you've done this with us before, and we're going to get into a little bit of a trivia challenge. Jonesy, why don't you go ahead and lay it out for us?
I think I flipped through the last one.
Yes, you did. Let's go, Joey.
Here we go.
Kenny?
I'm winning today. I'm telling you guys right now. Bet on your boy. Bet on your boy. Because guess what? Kenny Bolin is going down. I'm taking care of him. I'm knocking him out. 1, 2, 3.
That sounds like the dating game theme. Am I correct on that?
No. But come on, Kenny. Really?
Oh, hang on. Was it the $10,000 pyramid?
It was no, that's incorrect.
So I got it in 2 pieces. Get off my back.
It is the $100,000 pyramid. What do you mean the $14.13 pyramid, Kenny?
We were poor when I was a kid. We were the poor as kids. We only got the $100 pyramid.
It was the $14.13 pyramid, is what it was.
That's what it was. And food stamps even. And food stamps.
The food stamp pyramid. Okay, now we're getting into that gray area. Let's stay out of that. Joe,
now that you tell me, I realize that's not the dating game. I know the dating game thing, but I'm old. I get it. I get a pass.
No, you do get a pass, indeed. You are the star maker, after all.
I am.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's world famous Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. Tonight's contest is scheduled for the best 2 out of 3 falls on the contestant star, the knockdown Renee Martinez and star maker Kenny Bolin. In a few moments, I will ask you 3 questions about a particular professional wrestling topic. Whenever you think you know the answer to the question, just shout out your answer. The first person to win 2 falls will win tonight's Game Show Challenge.
I think I got beat last time I put you down.
You did win.
In honor
Wait, Joe, am I wrong?
Oh, I didn't win? Oh, okay.
Kenny Bolin is 2-0.
I thought I might have got beat.
No. I'm sorry.
I'm going for 2-0 then.
Yep. No, you're 1-1. He's 1-1.
No, okay, I'm 1-1. Well, that'd be 0-2, I guess.
Here we go.
In honor of tonight's guest, our Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge category has only 3 letters. O-V-W.
Oh, okay. I think I can get that.
I've got 3 famous professional wrestlers who are OVW alumni. When you think you know what I'm talking about, just shout out your answer. The first person to win 2 falls will win tonight's contest. For example, if I were to say, this professional wrestler competed in OVW under a different name than he did when he left OVW. Since leaving OVW, he has won a Money in the Bank match, 2 Royal Rumbles, 10 Slammy Awards, and 25 championships.
John Cena.
Including a record time 6.
John Cena.
I was going to say, I was going to go Dolph Ziggler, but I think that might be the guy, my claim to fame, John Cena. But he beat me to it, though. It was so obvious, I thought that was a test question. I didn't know that we had to answer. I thought that was so obvious.
It is a test question. It is a test question.
That's a test question. Okay, I didn't think we was playing for real there.
All right, no.
Not yet. All right. So here we go. Question.
Well, I got one. Let me start out. One of us has beaten John Cena, and the other one hasn't. Oh, that would be me.
Oh, come on, Kenny. Why you got to be a poor sport? Come on, we haven't even started yet. What's wrong with you?
Why I got to be a dick about it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Question number 1.
All right, let's go.
This wrestler has been listed in the PWI 518 times and is a 2018 Hall of Famer. He is a alumni of OVW and a native of Texas, but he has been a WWE.
Mark Henry.
I beat you to that one.
Kenny Bolin got that answer first. So Kenny Bolin stands the first point.
I buzzed in first on that one.
Yep. All right. Question number 2. This wrestler, after leaving OVW for the WWF/WWE, he captured the tag team championships with Rikishi and Charlie Ross. He is also known as the stylist.
Rico Constantino.
Rico Constantino is correct. Kenny Bolin has won the Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge.
Just had him as a guest on my show.
That's messed up.
But for shifting days, we're going to answer.
Let's do the third one. See if I can get a sweep. Let's do the third one.
No sweep. Kenny Bolin, you better get that out of your head. There's no way you're going to sweep. You better forget that.
A sweep would be embarrassing. Let's see if I can get the sweep.
No.
This wrestler is This wrestler is a former 5-time OVW champion. After leaving OVW, he went to win the NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
Rob Conway.
Rob Conway is correct. The Night Owl has been swept.
I swept you like a Swiffer mop.
Yes, sir. And here is your music, and it's just.
Bro, how?
Yeah. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they say there, and they say yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, hang on here. I had to put my old cedar mop up. I just swept his ass.
Damn you, Kenny Bolin!
I know.
Damn you!
Well, the one thing he did name 3 people I managed, so I guess I might have had a bit of an advantage there.
Exactly. This contest was absolutely biased. I demand that next time. I demand that next time we have the opportunity to do like a trivia on something that I'm familiar with, like the.
Well, that would be a help.
Well, yeah, that would helpful. Like maybe the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, or maybe tacos or beer. Oh, you're gonna hit the sad guy music on me, really? On my own show? This is nonsense. This is rocket. I deserve a raise. Kenny Bolin. Okay, enough with the sad music already, Timmy. Jeez Louise, Papa Cheese.
Yeah, that's some sad music going on there.
Oh, that's bullcrap. You guys set me up. Oh, God, here we go still. All right, cut that off. What's wrong with you guys? What is wrong with you?
Crying after hearing that.
Oh, my gosh. All right. You know what? I will tip my cap to the Star Maker, to the King, Kenny Bolin, for being a loyal member of the Wrestle Talk family. Kenny, anything you want to plug? Anything you want to make sure people know about before you get out of here tonight?
Well, one thing is I would tip my cap, but I don't wear one because I got pretty hair, so I don't do that.
Oh, then you're gonna talk about hair after everything? You sweet meat and you want to talk about hair? Damn you, Kenny Bolin. Jeez Louise.
I do want to plug my podcast. It's gotten very successful here lately, or at least more successful than it used to be.
Bowling Alley.
The Bowling Alley. You can go to that and subscribe on youtube.com / The Bowling Alley, BOLIN, of course. If you want to buy my book, contact my inbox on either Twitter or Facebook, and you can buy a copy of my book. Comes with a free autograph picture with it to use as a bookmark. If you want to buy the Beats by Bolin headphones, we have the JBLs and the Monster Intunes. We actually have a few Monster Intunes in stock right now. And my shirts, if you want to order my shirts, I can send you a link on Facebook that's got like 50 different shirts I sell. Basically, it's because we can do them in any color combination you want, up to 2 colors, and put any team logo on it that you want. Or a WWE logo. I don't give a shit. Let them sue me. What are they going to get? So, but yeah, we do all kinds of different color combinations, and of course the classic shirts, the BS logo, the Bowling Club logo, the I'm a Bowling guy, I'm a Bowling girl. We sell those. Oh, did you see Waluka still wears the I'm a Bowling girl shirt, Maya? She posted a picture in it yesterday.
Well, why wouldn't she, Kenny? Why wouldn't she?
Well, when she's in Romania, I think she's the only girl in Romania that wears an I'm a Bowling girl shirt. So that's pretty cool.
We need to change that. There needs to be more.
We need 2 girls in Romania wearing those shirts. I'll have to see what I can do. I'll see what I can come up with.
Hell yeah.
But other than that, just contact me. You can reach me on Twitter on @StarMakerBolin. Facebook is / StarMakerBolin. Instagram is just StarMakerBolin. I'm pretty goddamn easy to find.
That's right. Or just hit us up right here at Wrestle Talk Podcast.
My home phone number for those that want to call me is 502.
We stop that.
BR549.
Oh my gosh, here we go, Kenny. You want to send a DNA sample too? I mean, seriously, come on, man.
Well, I would like to find out about
Johnny.
Say that again, Kenny.
I said I would like to get a DNA test to find out if I'm actually part Cherokee Indian or not, and see if my grandma was just faking it the whole time.
Hey, next time, hopefully we'll know that.
I had suspicions at home.
You gotta let us know, bro.
Nico actually built her teepee.
Oh my God. Now, the suspense is going to be killing me now. Next time that we bring you on, we're going to want to know if you're actually part Cherokee Indian, right, Joe? I'm like excited now to find out about this.
Well, unless great-grandma was working us all, who knows? I come from a family of workers and thieves.
Workers and thieves. Joe, any final thoughts for the Star Maker tonight, man?
Well, man, it has been a pleasure. It's been a blast as always. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know that you only did one show today, and then
I've already done one.
Over here and did another show. So kudos to you, so props to you.
Well, just do me a favor. Remember, I don't do these shows for free. I must be paid. So go to my PayPal account, make a healthy donation, and donate to Kenny Bolin at msn.com. And I expect to see a few zeros at the end of this donation, if you know what I mean.
I have all the talk Tuesday night out, and he is going to cut you a check for as much money as the Kansas City Chiefs gave Patrick.
Whoa, take it easy.
One of you guys, do you?
Wait a minute, everyone. Wait a minute.
Fucking bullshit!
Oh my gosh, you can't be serious. Jeez Louise. I didn't agree to that. I'm just letting everybody know I did not agree to that.
I thought that was the agreement to get me on the show, to be honest with you. But all right. Just donate what you can, and then $10 more than that.
Boom. Well, you know what, Kenny? Before you go, I want to say this, and I want you to hear it too. Black wrestlers matter. I know that social justice is something that's near and dear to your heart as well, Star Maker. So you guys probably heard us a little bit earlier when we were talking to our first featured guest of the evening, the lovely, the talented Joseline Navarro. The Wrestle Talk podcast is an official sponsor of Black Wrestlers Matter. It is happening in Des Moines, Iowa at the end of August. And so many wonderful superstars are going to be showing and displaying their talent. And what better way to bring wrestling back into full swing, or at least partially into full swing, to have an event that supports, Black Wrestlers Matter. John and everybody else over there that's putting this event together, we're grateful for you guys giving us an opportunity to be a part of it. We believe in the cause. We want to support as much as we can. We want to make sure people are showing integrity, and really more than anything else, we want to make sure that everybody feels inclusive and everybody feels supported in what I still believe is the greatest country in God's green earth. And things are not perfect for everybody, but I think if we work together on it, we can get one step closer every day. Joe, your thoughts on that? Because I know it's something that's near and dear to your heart before we finish off officially tonight.
Yeah, man, I think that it is absolutely amazing that we are able to become sponsors of the Black Lives Matter wrestling show. That's going to be absolutely amazing. It's great publicity for the Wrestle Talk podcast, and this is something that I know that Rick would have been proud to be a part of as well. So shout out, man. Great stuff, man.
Yeah, and we love you, Rick, man. Rest in peace. We lost you on July 4th. Rick's this is Joe's best friend. This is one of the original hosts of the show. We would have never been here without you, man. I can't wait to do the memorial show. And ladies and gentlemen, one last time, please make sure that you go and check out our amazing guests, Kenny Bolin and Joseline Navarro, before the end of the night. We thank you for being here. We appreciate everybody who shared tonight's show. And I think that brings us to the conclusion. So good night, everybody. We'll catch you for episode 306 over at WrestleTalkPodcast.com. Grace and peace to everybody. Adios. Turn that up, baby.
Please call my name. I wanna hear my name. Call my name. I wanna hear me call my name from the valley. Call my name. To my baby. Way to the back. Call me. So I can see. I was a sinner.
Thank you for using Blog Talk
That's it,
Radio.
baby.
Goodbye.
Episode 305 is in the books. Thank you for being here. We love you guys. WrestleTalkPodcast.com. Please don't forget to share this broadcast. And last but not least, grab yourself a Wrestle Talk Podcast mug over at WrestleTalkPodcast.com or just shoot us a DM. Customized, $20 plus shipping. Get it to you in just a couple of weeks. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you guys for number 306. Adios.